Welcome to the Intentional Awakening Podcast with your hosts, Kathy Brewer and Terry Huberman.
Well, hello there and welcome to the Intentional Awakening Podcast. I'm Terry Huberman.
And I am your co-host, Kathy Groover, and we're going to start this episode as we do every episode with an angel card.
I think that's become one of my most favorite things that we do on the podcast, or the angel card.
I agree, because sometimes it turns into the topic for the day, and other times it's just nice to get a little inspiration, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is cool. So synthesis.
Synthesis. Ooh.
Synthesis. What a good word. It's got vowels in there that probably don't belong there. I love it. Act with a win-win attitude. Use your creativity and sensitivity to blend all the diverse parts into a unified whole.
Oh.
Which is not how I would describe synthesis.
Yeah.
To me, synthesis, like I think photosynthesis, it's converting something.
Right. And this one sounds like more integration versus
like blending of everything, blend all diverse parts into a unified whole.
Huh.
Cool. I'll take it. So whatever you need to synthesize, it can be blending. We like blending. Cool. All right. So today we're not talking about synthesis. We are going to talk about meditation struggles and misconceptions. So I teach meditation. Terry, I know you do a lot of work with meditation, and most people that I talk to have pretty intense misconceptions or ideas about what meditation should look like and how to do it, quote, right. And then if they don't do it up to those standards, they beat themselves up and they feel stressed about it. And that's certainly not helping. So what is your take on meditation, Terry? What are some things that you've heard from your clients about why they have trouble with it?
I think the number one, I don't know if it's a complaint. It could be kind of a complaint that I hear is I can't meditate because I can't clear my mind. Same with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and when people for years told me I should meditate. You should meditate. You should meditate. Yeah. First of all, any sentence that starts with you should, just get rid of it because it's judgmental. It's like, have you considered, have you thought about, what do you know about, that kind of thing. But
You're
I thought
for me.
But no, right, exactly. I mean, you can't tell me what to do. But like no one ever explained to me how to do it or what the point was, or, so I tried really hard, and I would sit on the pillow and all these thoughts would come in and I'd have this like 20-minute fantasy running, or I would remember that I had to do something. And so I would jump off the pillow, which I loved. I'd call it my to-do list meditation. It was fabulous. It was like, if I could remember that, if it helped remind me that I had things on my to-do list to cross off to get that dopamine hit, that was great, right? And then when I sat at Harvard, they explained that's not quite how you do it, which was kind of a bummer to me. But so when people say that to you, I can't do it because I can't blank out my thoughts, what is your response to that?
I typically tell them it's because you're really intelligent and you operate more from a cerebral place. And because I specialize in overwhelm and anxiety, which is just too much energy in the body. So when somebody is anxious or they're what I call emotional time traveling to the future, the what ifs, and they're thinking the how to's and the trying to get the outcomes and the results, they are being very cerebral. It is a sign of intelligence. Okay. The smarter you are, the more you're going to consider things and maybe mentally tinker with it and things like that. So it's not, and again, I think it's people's perception of what meditation should look like and should be because of the media or because of, whatever, however they were told. And I always tell people that there are different ways to meditate because not everybody is the same. I tend to myself practice and also teach active meditations because I'm dealing with people who have a lot of anxiety and are emotionally time traveling to the future. So it is very difficult to sit still and completely clear your mind.
Yeah. Whoever said that, I'd like to have a word with them. Because that's not how I've studied with multitudes of people. No one says to do that.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like we have these visions of Buddhist monks, right? And they're just sitting there quiet, or what we perceive as quiet. We don't know
Yep.
what's going
Nope.
inside their head, but they look quiet,
Right.
right? There, it looks like there's silence all around them. They're at, Vipassana retreats where there's like, you can't talk. Oh my God, you're the loudest when you can't talk.
Well, and to that point, I sat with Thich Nhat Hanh. I studied with him one of my trips to Harvard, and I'm wearing my Harvard sweatshirt, just happened to be on there. But he said there were times he had trouble meditating because he couldn't shut out his thoughts. And I'm like, you have one job, which is to sit around and meditate, so I don't have to. What do you mean you have trouble with it? But that was really inspiring to me because it's like literally he's like unfortunately he's no longer with us, but he was like the second most well-known monk next to the Dalai Lama. And he's telling us, this group of 1,000 people, that he has trouble meditating because he can't turn his brain off. And I'm like, oh, hallelujah. Thank you. Namaste. It's like good because it gives us a little bit of hope that we can do it.
Yeah. But that perception will poke at our perfectionism. And so then we're like, God, we have to sit here, not move. What if I have an itch? Like what if all of these things? And so I have found that, okay, so the whole idea of meditation is just to focus on something. That's all meditation is it's focus. Yeah. Let's simplify this for people. So when you're writing a report or you're painting the wall and you're doing something over and over and over again, you're focusing on something. That's where your attention is going.
Yeah.
And we know that wherever we put our attention and our energy is going to follow.
Yeah.
Right. So you could be meditating on fear. You could be meditating on, what if someone steals my purse at the market? So it's like, all it is it's focused attention. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But when you see a Buddhist monk sitting there, you're like, oh my God. And they're not moving. They're not twitching. It's like you think you have to be that way so that when you try it and you're not that way, I'm a failure. I'm defeated. I can't meditate. Life sucks. That's it.
Yeah. Well, and meditation shouldn't be stressful. It's supposed to be the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I tell people when I teach it, and I teach a mini meditation, which I also got from Herbert Benson this is going to be a Harvard day for me, I guess. Called a mini meditation, where you simply concentrate on your breathing, and on the inhale you think I am, and on the exhale you think at peace, and you just repeat that. You don't have to close your eyes, you don't have to contort yourself. If it itches, you can scratch it. I do this in traffic. Don't close your eyes. It creates a whole other set of problems. But it's like, if I'm at a red light and I'm frustrated that I didn't make it, I look at I take my hands off the steering wheel, I look up at the light, and I am at peace until the light changes. I've taken that 30 seconds to 2 minutes to meditate. And I don't pick up my phone. I don't ruminate about, I'm going to be late now. I just do my best to stay present. And that's the point of meditation, is to help you be present and mindful of this moment. Because again, I don't care what you can do on the pillow. You can meditate for 45 minutes and blank out your brain and never have a thought. That's super. But if you get off the pillow and you were jerked to the guy at Starbucks, then it didn't work.
Yeah. That is not practicing loving kindness and generosity.
Right.
You know? So it still fascinates me to hear all of these things. And I have been one of those people that said the same thing, because I unfortunately am an overthinker. So I create a lot of stuff in my dynamic brain, but then I started to say, okay, well, let me just listen. I'm just going to focus on the sound, right? So for guided meditation, I'm very oral with my ears, not with my mouth. Well, with food, I'm very oral, but
well, that's good, because you put that in your ear, it's going to be a mess.
That's perfect. So I can tune in to the sound, like the hum of an air conditioner, and I'll just place my attention and my awareness on that hum. So I'm focusing on that hum, and that hum is making me very present to the now moment. So you can, but see, we're not taught that we can use simple everyday things, walking meditations.
Huge. Easy. Or tapping your fingers while you're walking and counting the breath. And there's so many different ways to do this. And everybody thinks that it has to look exactly the way this one book said they read this one time. And
Yeah.
it's like, I do seated formal meditation. I do walking meditation. I do guided meditation. I do the mini meditation. I do it so many different ways. But the point of it is to hone that idea of presence, not to beat yourself up because thoughts
Yeah.
intruded. And, I like to use the analogy of standing at the baggage return at the airport. You don't
Mhm.
grab every bag. You stand there and you go, that's not mine. That's not mine. And you watch them pass by. And then when there's one you want, that's what you take.
Yeah.
That's the way it is with meditation. The thoughts go by
Yeah.
and you don't have to grab them. If you do, you acknowledge, oh, I'm thinking, and you let it go. And that's the magic in this, is being able to realize, oops, I grabbed it, and then go, oh, but I don't need it, and you let it go. I do
Yeah.
guarantee you the thoughts will be there when you're done meditating.
And that's actually what I tell myself. I say, okay, this is real. I'm thinking a lot about this. I'm going to let it go because I'll pick it up later.
Yeah.
That's actually, I tell myself
Yep.
that and I instruct myself that.
100%.
When I firmly believe that when you curate your own experience, you're showing yourself that you actually do have control over your responses and your behaviors and your reactions. And the more you do it, the more in control you feel. Because if you're saying, I can't meditate based on the experience that you had, but you were not exposed to alternative ways,
Yeah.
you are doing such a disservice to yourself. You are limiting yourself. And it makes me sad. It actually makes me sad for people because they could be having a completely different experience.
Right. I
So
would I would rather see people have 3 minutes of meditation
I'm
than 20 minutes of them trying to do this thing and to beat themselves up the whole time and feeling like they
yeah,
failed. Do
yeah,
3 solid minutes. And I've had clients say, only three. Geez, what's even the point if I can't do 20? Well, are you going to go run a marathon tomorrow without training? I'm not ever
yeah,
going to do that. But it's like, you don't, you have to build up to it. And
yeah,
these books that say, unless you're doing 20 minutes, it's crap. That's crap. That's not how that works.
yeah,
And if you can find a way to be present with your breath, with your thoughts, then that rolls into real life off the pillow, where you can be present with a person speaking with you,
yeah,
where you can be present with when your kid needs something, where you can bring in all of your senses and notice shifts in people's breathing, or they take a step back, or they clench their hands, or you're going to be a better communicator, a better leader, better in relationships. You're going to be happier, you're going to be more generous and compassionate. That's what meditation leads to.
yeah,
And I think if we don't understand the point of why we're doing this, then why
yeah.
would we do it? I was that kid. I'm sure you were the same way. If I said why and my parents said because I said so, that
Because
didn't
oh,
no, that didn't work for me. It certainly doesn't work for me as an adult. So the reason we meditate is to find, I'm going to say the word control, though I don't mean like control, but finding a way to control our thoughts. Because then if we're having trouble falling asleep, if we're ruminating on the what ifs, we get to use synergy to change that and bring that all together into a place where we can be calmer and more present and just better in life.
yeah, yeah. Uh, and if you there, because we have energy centers, if you're going to meditate in certain areas of your body, like use your body as an active meditation, which is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
The heart has an intelligence to it because there are neurons in it. So when I'm working with my clients and I'm having them activate the energy of their heart merely by focusing on it, which is meditating on it, it neutralizes those not good feelings. And
Mm.
all we're doing is tapping. So this is very active.
Oh, yep. Yep.
So very active. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so much going on with just this one movement. And I do tell people to do it when they're driving because you can,
Yeah.
or
You
even
could
just, I
sure.
mean,
This is a steering wheel.
yeah, yeah, of course. You don't just go.
Yeah, you can do your knees, but I mean that's risky.
You can actually do an active meditation while stuck in traffic.
Oh,
Well,
100%.
and that's what I think people need to know. that if they have an idea that the way meditation should be, they could hopefully try it on like a goat. You don't like it, take it off. Consider there's a different way of getting to the same spot or to the
Yeah.
same end result. And you'll feel it in your body.
Mhm.
Your body will actually slow down, which
Yeah.
feels nice when it's not always
Yeah. And then it gets to a point where everything seems to be going slower. So we don't have to rush. We don't have to feel that sort of harried like craziness of I gotta get this. It
yeah,
calms our nervous system down.
yeah,
And also long-term meditators, they show that that slows the genetic effects of aging. Why
yeah.
would we not want that? It's so much
Yeah.
cheaper than Botox. You know,
So
you have to be a long-term meditator. You can't like meditate twice and be like, I'm young. But I mean, that would be great. I would do those two meditations. Um, but yeah, there's so many health benefits. It slows our heart rate, our respiratory rate, it lowers our blood pressure, it can lower our blood sugar. It, you know, again, slows the genetic effects of aging. It's good for our cognitive function. The people who meditate, so I've had a lot of guys say, oh, it's going to make me soft and only girl, blah, airy fairy bullshit thing. Let me tell you who meditates: judges, sports figures, Olympians. They are working on their minds just as much as they are their bodies. So whether
yeah,
they're doing affirmations or visualization, or whether they're meditating and doing mindfulness practices every day, it's helping them up their game.
yeah,
And when I go speak to health and safety people, it's these guys who are working in prisons and working on gas lines and, very dangerous, high
yeah.
stress places that when I ask them to meditate and I teach everybody the mini, you can see just their entire being just like, ugh. And they've come up to me afterwards and said, I think you just saved me, because
Oh,
they didn't know how to meditate. They didn't know they could. And that's
yeah,
why I like the mini, because it makes it so easy, right?
yeah,
Anybody can do that. Anybody can do it. Geez, if me and my type A, control freak Capricornness can do it, then any of you can meditate.
yeah, yeah. And you just get better at it the more you do it, which is like anything else. It's like a muscle that you work out.
Yeah. And not to
Nobody,
say you still won't have backslides, that,
oh,
that there are days where like I did 10 good days in a row, and then you have one that's crap because you're stressed about work, or something's
yeah,
happening in the world, or your cat is bothering you. There's going to
yeah.
be days where it's not as good. Who
Mhm.
cares? You're doing it. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just sit or walk
And,
or tap or,
and to piggyback on that, I've had many times where I did it for like a month and then I stopped for like 2 weeks. Right. And then I went back. I call it back to the basics.
hmm
So this way, because consistency will take you further longer. So if you do it like a month and you take off 2 weeks, not intentionally, people, I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying if that's the way things
right.
happen, there's no failure, there's no
Yeah.
defeat. You didn't screw up. You just go back to the basics. And I think that's something really important that everybody who has preconceived ideas or notions or anything to go, there's no such thing as being perfect with this. There's no ideal right way. It's a timing. There's
hmm
divine timing, divine orchestration, and we just go back to the basics.
Yep.
That's it.
I love
Meditate.
divine orchestration. That's such a great phrase.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down. Okay. Yeah. So figure out what way works for you and do it that way. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to look like what anybody else does. Now, if you
Yeah.
want to do formal seated Zazen meditation, where when you do that, they come up behind you and whack you with a stick to keep you focused, then go to an ashram somewhere and do that. But if you don't want to get whacked with a stick, figure out a way to, do it your way. I
I
think
don't
that would be a fascinating experience to go and do that much intensity of meditation. I don't think I want to, but it would be really fascinating. Someday in my
know.
life, maybe I'll go get whacked by monks, but
I was gonna say, have you ever, got a whack by monk meditate?
no, I have done Zazen meditation for a while, and I have done Zazen meditation with a monk in Japan. We had a private session with this guy, Mr. Hata. Sure. He was amazing, but
That's
he didn't hit us.
he didn't hit you.
He
Damn it.
did make us a nice dinner. He did not whack us. Yeah.
Whack-a-mole for you.
Yeah. Dunk. Yeah. So do it, figure out a way to do it.
Yeah.
If you need help, let either of us know. There's so many resources online. There's apps for that. So just find what works for you and you'll start to see the benefits and then you're going to look forward to doing it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
cool. Well, we have hit our time. I am Kathy Groover. I can be reached at kathygroover.coach.
And I'm Terrie Huberman. You can find me at terriehuberman.com. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Intentional Awakening podcast. We'll see you in the next one.
See ya.